everyone, in this episode I'm going to make caramel cookies or keto caramel cookies. So let's get started. The first step in getting our caramel cookies together is to actually make the caramel. So we do need to make this first so we can pop it in the fridge to cool it off to a good texture. So to get started, just going to pop the cooktop on to a high temperature. And we're going to put a block of butter in. This is salted butter. I'm going to pop in 250 mils of cream. And 5 tablespoons of xylitol. You can actually use any sweetener that you prefer. So we're just going to give that a mix around. And just combine and melt all of those ingredients together. Now we just want to bring this up to the boil, and we keep boiling it until it changes to a caramel, which you'll see as we go through the process. Okay, so we're finished doing our caramel. So this is it here, and I'm just going to pop that now into the fridge just so it can start to set. And the next stage in our cookie making is actually making the cookies themselves. So we just need a cup of almond flour, a quarter of a cup of the coconut flour, a third of a cup of your desired sweetener, in our case it's xylitol, then we pop in half a teaspoon of baking powder, just give that a little stir around. So that's all the dry ingredients. Then we want to add a teaspoon of vanilla essence, one egg that I've left out of the fridge for a while. That stops that real eggy flavour. And then we just want to get our half a block, which is 125 grams of butter, and just chop that into more manageable pieces, because we'll be actually squishing that all into that dough. Just give that a chop up. It just makes it easy to mix it through. Okay, so you could use a food processor to mix all of this together, but hands are fine. I'm going to pop my gloves on. And we'll just give this all a really good mix through. There's our dough. Now we just want to roll this out to be the size of the diameter of our biscuit, because we'll actually be freezing this for 10 to 20 minutes, just making sure that it's firm enough to be able to cut it to size. So just with the baking paper, we just want to roll that to size. Just put a little bit of almond flour on the top to help with the stick. Just to stop it from sticking. So I'm really quite happy with the roundness of that. So they'll be that round, and then I'll just slice it once it gets frozen. Now I'll just pop that in the freezer now for 10 to 20 minutes and come back to you. Okay, so I've just pulled the cookie dough out of the freezer. So it's been in there for 20 minutes and it's really quite firm. And we're just going to slice it into the thickness of our biscuits. Just pop the oven on to 180. So it's a 180 fan forced. Okay, that's 26 biscuits. Spread them out. And give them some space to be able to cook. Okay, and then we pop them in the oven for 8 to 10 minutes until lightly brown. Okay, so we'll just set these in the oven. Pop the timer on for 8 minutes, give them a check, and keep cooking if we need to up to 10 minutes. So that's 10 minutes in total in the oven. Just to let you know, at 8 minutes I actually took them and swapped them to a different shelf, just so that they could cook evenly. Now we just need to leave our biscuits here and let them cool off for 5 minutes before moving them onto a cooling rack. Just going to now, after 5 minutes of cooling them on the pan, move them onto the cooling rack. And we just need to have them completely cooled before we top them with caramel. Okay, so the ones that haven't quite cooked as much are breaking apart. Interesting. So you see, because they haven't quite cooked as much as the others, they actually are just falling apart. So we'll leave those, we don't need them. We've got all of these beautiful ones over here. Okay, so we had a bit of trouble with the caramel in the sense that it started to separate in the fridge. So we needed to cool it down really, really quickly and stir at the same time to make sure that all of the contents were cooling at the same rate. So we just did a bed of ice and popped our tray on top, and I've just been making sure that everything was mixing together so we get a really nice consistent caramel. So this is the kind of consistency I wanted to be able to pop on top of our biscuits, so we'll go ahead and get that done. Grab a biscuit, put him down on here because it means I can transfer it a bit easier, and then I'm just going to put a dollop of caramel sauce on each. And then top that to make a caramel biscuit sandwich. So I'm just going to go ahead and do that with every single one of them that we have. And I'll do that under time lapse so you can see that. So the final step that I want to do with my caramel cookies is to cover them with some 90% linked dark chocolate. So I'm just going to use half a block and melt that down. I don't want to cover the whole biscuit in them. I just want to drizzle some over the top, and I'll leave some that don't have chocolate for those that like that. So I'll just go ahead and pop this in the microwave for about a minute to melt it down, and then I'll come back to you. Out of the microwave after it being in for a minute, so that's half a block of the dark linked chocolate. I'm just going to pop a drizzle of chocolate over the top. So I'll leave those three uncovered with chocolate. Now I'm just going to pop this all in the fridge to let it set for an hour or so. Then I'll come back to you with the final result. Okay, our biscuits are done. Just want to show you that we have the biscuit bottom, the beautiful middle of caramel that is now, you know, quite firm, and then the nice beautiful dark chocolate on top. Let's give it a try. It is beautiful, absolutely beautiful. What a creation.